Hey everybody, what's up? My name's Mackenzie.
And I'm Jonathan.
We are husband and wife, and we'd like to welcome you to TerreDice, where we love to play games and talk about them.
And today we're going to be talking about a game called Horrified Dungeons and Dragons.
Terror is in the eye of the beholder.
That is the fifth quote for the fifth installment of the Horrified series.
So if you aren't familiar with the Horrified system, it is a game. This is the fifth game in the lineup of this amazing game where monsters are wreaking havoc on the town, and you, the heroes, have to save these poor innocent people. And now we are mixing it up with Horrified Dungeons and Dragons. So if that sounds like something that might be interesting to you, then just keep watching.
All right, so in Horrified Dungeons and Dragons, we're going to be diving deep into Dungeons and Dragons lore. Not that deep, just Waterdeep deep. So we are going to the town of Waterdeep, or the castle Waterdeep. We have these other crazy arcane chambers going on. We've got Skullport, and we've got the Willowwood. And they are a bunch of different areas where we're going to be teleporting around these teleportation circles in and out of to try to defeat these monsters while we have all sorts of people coming out to see what's going on, and we need to get them home too. So we're going to be playing as classic characters like the rogue, the cleric, the bard, and what's unique about this version of Horrified right off the bat is that our power is based on a skill check of a d20 dice. So we will be rolling a die, which you may be able to modify with some of your perk cards, and it's going to give you a power. Generally, the higher it goes, the more powerful and flexible that power is going to be. But it could be something like stealing items for the rogue. It could be something like protecting your friends for the cleric. It could be something like teleporting to random locations around the board, which can cause chaos if you are the wizard. But you're basically going to use those powers in addition to your normal actions that you take to try to defeat your monsters. Now we have 4 monsters in this box. We have the Beholder, the creepy eye monster who's coming after you, and you got to poke out all his eyeballs before you stab him in the face. You have the Mimic, which basically as you're picking up items, one of those items might actually be a Mimic treasure chest, which comes and eats your face off, and then you got to punch him in the face. And then you have the Displacer Beast, who is potentially multiple places at once, and so when you try to defeat them, you have to check against a d20 die if you've actually found all of the replicas of the Displacer Beast and you know where it actually is. And then lastly, we have the Red Dragon. Now, if you played Horrified World of Monsters, we had this kind of multi-level boss with Cthulhu, where you went to his world, and then in his realm, you had to defeat Cthulhu once and for all. Well, the Red Dragon has this tomb that you have to go steal a vault from. It's this whole slider puzzle that changes every game. And then once you've done that, you are going to go to his hoard, lure him out by stealing a bunch of his treasure, and then defeating the Red Dragon.
What did we think about this? So we have been able to play all of the Horrifieds, and we have been able from the beginning, and I know a lot of people that watch our channel also love the Horrifieds. Like we love the theming, the monster chaos, just the system that this game is originally based on. So how do you feel they did with the adaptation with Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, the first thing you're going to notice when you open this box, it is gorgeous. It is such a well-designed production. All of the cards are beautiful. All of the player art is this beautiful, like kind of 2D side portrait player art. You have these awesome looking cards for both the monster deck and then for the perk card decks.
Yeah,
You get this D20 that's sparkly and has the and symbol for the 20. It all just looks spectacular.
I feel like they really pulled out all of the stops with this game as far as production goes. Like they did a lot of like new things with it. Now the perk cards, those are all done in this really cool style of these long form cards. And it's the first time we're seeing that in like a more D&D book style of this artwork here. And it's very cool. They incorporated those. And speaking of artwork, the minis themselves are, I think, some of the coolest we've seen. Just the amount of
they're
detail.
awesome. Yeah, Mimic looks great.
I
Little
love
tongue coming out of
the
treasure chest.
see-through little stand that the
big
beholder
dragon.
is sitting on. Yeah, he's awesome.
In terms of complexity, the monsters are generally, like, I would say, fairly straightforward. Displacer Beast and Beholder are pretty straightforward, but have fun twists to them. Mimic's a little bit weird, but totally makes sense. Red Dragon is as hard as you would expect it to be, but what I really want to
I think
call
he was
out.
harder than I thought he would be.
Oh yeah, he was pretty hard. Yeah, but what I really want to call out is there have been comments in the past, and we've made a lot of comments in the past about rules clarity. How historically, famously, these horrified monsters are so hard to understand. How there's edge cases and stuff where you're like looking up on Board Game Geek trying to figure out how to make them work. These were super clear. All four of them, dead stop, clear as can be. No rules clarification issues that we had, at least when we were playing, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like in Greek monsters especially, we had some troublesome, and I now see that those have been addressed on different platforms, but just off out of the bat, like this book, the rule book does a really straightforward job at explaining them. And they did some rules tweaks to the original game. One of the biggest ones of note is that when the terror level is going up, so the game ends one of the ways the game ends is when the terror level gets to the end of it's number 7, and now it has a new rule that if you defeat a monster, you go back a terror level, which I really like. I felt like it was kind of a reward. That like, yeah, I beat him, and then you get to get like a back scale. Like
I wondered if this was something that we had just missed.
I was like, have we been playing Horrified wrong this whole time?
And I didn't see it in any of the rule books. Please correct us if that's always been a rule, but we have missed that up until this point if that was always a rule.
If not, we've been making it way harder on ourselves. Yeah.
But yeah, I just like everything about this I think was a ton of fun. I would say if you look back at original Horrified or some of the earlier ones, there are parts of this that are more complicated and hard to wrap your brain around, mostly because you've got these crazy teleportation circles. Yeah. None of the board is actually fully connected. Some of the spaces are really hard to get to. But it kind of just like, if you're looking for a D&D feeling experience, I think that this brings a lot of that to it, and it's a lot of fun.
D&D as far as theming goes.
Yes.
Like, so it's very thematic to the character, the citizens you're going to be saving. You're going to recognize all of them from D&D lore and D&D backstories, and the different characters that you can play, the different heroes, and of course the bad guys themselves. So the Red Dragon in particular, Jonathan talked about how he goes onto the separate board like Cthulhu and World of Monsters. His puzzle, they even note that if you are brand new to Horrified, you shouldn't play him first, because by far he was the most complicated, I would say. Well, it's interesting because I think the puzzle that you do, what Jonathan explained,
you're trying to get the orb out
of it, and it's one of those like slider puzzles. And so you pick that slider puzzle at the beginning of the game by rolling the d20 and then picking the configuration it's going to be. Now, it really is luck of the draw on how difficult that configuration is going to be. So we were able to get one out in like 5, and the other one were like 5 turns, and the other one was way more complicated. So in that sense, it's like just a little bit of luck of the draw on what that is going to be like for you, which is like the same in, I would say, D&D, like how hard your different things, like whether you get a critical hit or not, like those things like that.
Yeah. And then once you go into his cave, basically you have some control over how much you fight him, because you have to put items up on pedestals and you get to add those to your die result, and you're trying to get a 20 or higher. So based on what items you put, you're pushing your luck a little bit about, how good your die roll needs to be. But man, I loved these puzzles. I thought they were all so much fun.
Yeah. Do you have anything negative about the game?
Honestly, I have absolutely nothing negative to say about the game. I would say, what I might say is it's hard. It's harder.
Say the portals are confusing.
The portals you gotta wrap your mind around.
If you've never played Horrified before, all the different passage. It's not just the portals. Also, like, I forget what it's called. The sliding, the castle corkscrew, and then like the well. Like those are the ways to get around.
Yeah. So it's basically like. When you think about monsters move towards the closest person now includes portals. So it's just like a little bit more for you to wrap your head around if you're the one running the game. If I'm picking this up off the shelf at Target, I might be sitting there like,
Yeah, that's important to note too, is that monsters can use the portals.
Yeah.
So if you are a D&D person and you aren't familiar with the Horrified system, I would just make sure you really read up in the rule book on how the Horrified system works to be able to have access to that. One thing of note with the map, which I don't think you noted, if you are in the town of Waterdeep, is that what that's called up there?
Oh yeah, the Castle Waterdeep in the town.
If you're in the Castle Waterdeep, well, the whole thing is called Undermountain. If you're in Castle Waterdeep, then you are safe from the dragon.
Yeah,
which
there's
is
a little
also,
no dragon symbol on them.
I think that's the first time
yeah.
we've seen that in a game where you are safe if you go to a certain
Oh
location.
yeah, that is pretty cool. Yeah, it's fun. You can like run away from the dragon.
Now that's Horrified D&D. Now people are gonna ask, where does it rank? Which one should I get? Jonathan?
Honestly, so here's what I'll say. Like, I have a really hard time ranking these because I love so many of the experiences from all of them. What I will say is I think we should put out a video soon ranking the monster puzzles. And I think we should do that because
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a lot of mix where some of them are higher than other ones.
Yeah.
I would say if you like the theme at all, this one is a knockout of the park. It is absolutely awesome. I think the mimic being tied to the items you pick up, and then all of a sudden your item turns into this. Like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I love that. And I really think that the puzzles are a lot of fun.
And the red dragon was so layered. I liked that
it's so fun.
It felt like
a boss battle.
An experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So I honestly love it. Like it's really, really good. So honestly, I think that this earns its rank well among the good Horrifieds. I think we're gonna have to like rank the monster puzzles individually.
I know, it's so hard. They've all been really good. I think it's like the original, then American Monsters, World Monsters, and D&D. Somewhere they're all like the same.
Nice ranking.
And then Greek at the bottom. So I would say it's like a sandwich.
Like a Greek sandwich, like a hero.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The original, honestly, just because you got those classic monsters, and it's the original system. But this one is a great adaptation. I am so happy to see Horrified just keep going, and I can tell a lot of love with the people over at Ravensburger put into this game.
Yeah,
and
they should be really proud of this.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I was very happy, and the puzzles seem to have been really well thought out, and the theming is always amazing with the Horrified sets, and so I was just happy to be able to play it again. And I always love playing this system.
Well, we have good news because one of you...
After we've talked it up so much.
We'll get to play this too. So we have not one, but 2 copies of the game, which means we're going to do a giveaway of this copy
It is
right
unopened.
Here. So if you would like to get yourself a copy of Horrified Dungeons & Dragons, which mind you comes out in like mid-August-ish, so if you want to get it like a little early, we'll ship it out here in the next week and a half or so, I would say, from when we put out the video.
I'll put the date here when we'll release it, and all you have to do to be entered is comment down below who your favorite monster is. It doesn't have to be from D&D. It could be any of the Horrifieds that I have released. And then you have to be subscribed to our YouTube channel and then our Instagram, which is the same name as our YouTube channel, at TerreDice Games. And I will check when I'll pull the winner on such and such date right here, and then you'll have to verify with me if that is you.
Yeah.
All right. But thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much to Ravensburger for sending us this copy, 2 copies early. Like, this has been amazing. They also sent some really fun other things that I'm sure I'm going to do an Instagram short of it soon. So like a lot of really fun package. But we are going to review this one regardless, and so I'm really excited just that the Horrifieds are just continuing. But thank you guys so much for watching. We have done other reviews on the Horrifieds, so if you want to know about the other ones, go check those out. I'll link them down below. But as always, we will see you next time, and happy playing!